Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I think this is going to be a really quick video today. Um, so this past weekend, I don't know if you ever get in one of those moods where you kind of want to do some crafting, but it seems like planning a project and starting something is just a chore. And I kind of felt that way this weekend. So I just grabbed a few things. I bought these little notepads at Dollar Tree quite a long time ago. I don't know if they still have them. Um, but they used to come, I think they used to come 4 in a pack, and then I found them at 3 in a pack. But you might be able to find them in another dollar store or just anywhere that you can get any kind of little cheap pad like this. Um, and I have also done, and they might be covered up, I've also done these little tiny composition books. And they're easy to cover with paper. It's not something that takes a long time. You don't have to do a lot of planning for it. And you can use scraps. So the hardest thing, I guess, and it's not really hard, is just measure how big this is and decide, do you want to cut a piece of something to cover the whole thing or just part of it? This is 3.5 by almost 5, thereabouts. So you can just cut 3.5-inch wide out of a 8.5 by 11 paper to have a 3.5 by 8.5. It won't cover this whole back, but it doesn't matter because it's just a doodad to give away. And I have found that people get really excited. You wouldn't think people get excited over a little notepad with some pattern paper on it or a little composition book that's just simply decorated, but they really do. As a matter of fact, I had somebody at work, she gave everybody a little composition book at our staff meeting that we had just a couple of weeks ago. Well, I already have a ton of these composition books. So the one she gave me, I covered it with paper and gave it back to her, and she was thrilled. So then I went to work and found she had put 3 more in my box. I don't know if that was a hint or not, but I am going to cover them. So this one this is some heavier weight craft paper than I would usually use on one of these, but I had it sitting here, so I cut it out. And this one I did 3.5 by 11 and had to cut a piece off. And I'm just going to go ahead and decorate it. Well, I'll show you what I do. I use double-sided tape. You can use liquid glue. And I just don't know what I do with my scissors that I was using. Oh, good Lord, this desk is the worst. It's been getting worse and worse over time. I have no idea. I think I might have taken them and used them somewhere else. That's as bad as I accuse other people around here of being. But, you know, I just put some tape on the front. And it would help if I keep in frame. This camera has somehow managed to move itself again. It doesn't have to be the greatest job in the world. Of putting down tape. little liquid glue there and tape on the back. Actually, I should have taped that on. I did a boo-boo because I'm getting nervous behind the camera. We're just going to peel this off here. Sorry. So what I should have done is wrapped this around the top here, and I get my bone folder so that I get a crisp edge here. And just burnish this down. Just so it's on there really nice. Again, put a piece here. And again, I think the Amazon truck is here, so the cats ran out to see what's being delivered. And then, like I say, this is thicker than what I usually use. And the reason a little bit lighter weight cardstock is best is because it wraps around better. These are an odd size, so I don't score them on my scoreboard as a rule. And that's a little long, and that's wanting to come up a little bit. So okay, and then that just take your tape off, adhere that on both sides. This one's a little long, so I'll cut that off. So here we have one already covered. It is stuck down there good. This is a piece of paper from one of Bitty Pennies. It goes that way. Paper packs. Could actually use either side. I'm going to use that. This is from, what is this paper pack called? Is it like the Next Chapter or something like that? Anyway. And when you make one of these, I have like tons of things that I have die cut or fussy cut or what have you, and you can just glue these down as much or as little as you like on one of these things. Here's a little piece that I cut and didn't use for a project. There's a fairy that I put together and didn't use. So there's just, I have all kinds of flowers and doodads. Tons of these. And this is a great way to use up some of that stuff. But I have some of the cut-aparts from this. And since I'm going to just put some of these out at the library, which is where I work. So it doesn't have to look, oh, I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of is, but polished. You know, I can do like 3 of these, and then I'm going to put a sentiment across there. Oops. Going to trim this down just a hair. And these are so easy. They really don't take much time. And if you just want to sit down and play without, like I say, having to worry about a real project. Maybe you don't like this weekend. I didn't feel like making a card or starting a journal. But I kind of wanted to do a little something, so this was it. And I actually, this little composition book, just wrapped a piece of paper so it's got a pocket on both sides. Took my corner rounder, used some, this ribbon, burlap ribbon, was from Dollar Tree. But these, I made every one of these this weekend. Just using, this is some old paper that I bought at a Pop Shelf. Gosh, I've probably had it at least a few years. That one I just did some stenciling and stuck some stickers on. I used some cut aparts. That's actually 2 different papers, but anyway, and I used some die cuts that I had just sitting here in the little my little container. Can just decorate them. These printables I got from Monica Taylor over at Taylor Made Cards for You. And that sentiment, I think, is from somebody else, and I can't remember. It might be Calico Collage. Could be somebody else. And just, you know, stuck these words down, and there's nothing else on here. I just fussy cut this little image. This is a piece of gold that I had dry embossed, using an embossing folder, and it's been sitting here for ages. I just cut a strip off of it. This didn't go quite to the edge. I just cut a strip and covered up the edge. This is an old thing I had from, I think it came from Pink Fresh, like their clearance section one year, and I'm still trying to use those up. So anyway, they're super quick, and it's just fun to sit down and do something. And people seem to like them a lot. So let's see. I am going to, first chapter, there's the stamp set. So maybe it's first chapter. And I bought this, and I've never used it. I have used some of the paper from the paper pack, but I haven't used the stamp set. So we are going to stamp out a sentiment real quick. I'm going to cut it out and put it on here. And I may pop it up, but I don't put any dimension on the back, because if somebody's writing, you don't want it to be all, have stuff on the back so you can't write on it easily. So let's see. we're going to use this stamp. I should have here. I just cut those out. I got a oh, here, I'll use this. I have this piece over here, which was a project that didn't turn out very well. Oh, I got a new punch. Circle punches, I get them out all the time, or I need circles all the time, and sometimes it's just too much trouble to get out my circle dies, quite frankly. And fumble around to try to find the right size that I want, when I can take a punch and just punch out a ton of them like super quick. Of course it's got hair on it. I don't know how it's got hair on it. Probably from the stamp pad. I figure as long as I'm doing them, I might as well do several. And that's how I have all these bits and bobs of stuff too, is because a lot of times I just cut extras when I'm die cutting or fussy cutting and throw them in an envelope. Of course, I'd let that slide over. And I do have a bunch of sentiments and things I could use, but I kind of wanted this to match the paper. And again, that doesn't take but a second to do. And I'm going to just put a tiny bit of, this is Vintage Photo, which is my favorite for just taking a little of the white off the edge there. And this, I don't mind popping up a hair with some foam tape. I'm going to bring my foam tape over here to me. I just never put any on the back of the notepad or notebook. Oh, and I need another little piece. And unless you just want to, you don't have to put these on straight. So, and you can put a few sequins on if you want, but you don't have to. And just that quick, you've got a pad. I do like to put a little something back here, like a little label, where somebody can put their name if they want to. And here's some more of those sentiments that I had cut out too. Those are too girly. Actually, I don't have to use the front of these with flowers and stuff. I can just put this on here. We have a lot of middle school kids come into the library and wait on a ride after school. Hey, Kiki. Somebody thinks it's time to eat, and it probably is getting close to that time now. Oh, I have glue on me. And let me clean this off really quick. I'm going to put a little something else on the back of here. And it's just up to you if you do want to do some little project like this. How much or how little decoration. You'd like to put. Yes, Peep Peep. I will feed you in just a minute, Peep Peep. So let's. Cat is distracting me. Okay, Peep Peep, just wait a minute. There we go. And I think I'm going to do a couple more stamps. I actually got out a whole bunch of stamps thinking I would just stamp this whole thing and make a background, but I changed my mind. Okay, I'll feed you in a second. I know you're starved. Haven't been fed in days and days. Cats are so needy. Cats are really needy. And they will lie to you. I'll feed you in just a second, okay? Well, longer than a second, but you know what I mean. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I guess it took a lot of concentration to stamp the books on there. And like I said, you could add more or put less. But these are super fun. You could put this in a gift basket, give somebody like a pen, a pencil, some, small office supplies, and a couple of pads. I have also done these with magnets. I just put the self-stick little sheet magnets, which is the same thing I use for my dies, actually. I have a bunch of scraps. As a matter of fact, I have them right over here so I can show you what I'm talking about, just in case you don't know. So I just throw a bunch of these on the side of my freezer and then grab them when I need to. So this peels off and it's sticky here, and then this is magnetic. And you can I usually will just put one on and see if it sticks without sliding down. And if it slides down, I'll just add another little piece of magnet to it. And then you've got like a pad for a grocery list for somebody. And if you had like a little food themed paper, you could use that, which I actually have. So anyway, that's our little project for today. And boy, I have a big mess to clean up here. So you just might want to try this sometime. Like I said, you can shop for these pads at your dollar store, and fix them up. They make nice gifts. So let me know if you try it, or if you have done, or do you do stuff like this? Find little projects, ways to use up your scrap papers, and odds and ends of ephemera. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting my channel. Thank you to everybody for the really nice comments you give me. And I will see you in the next video.